couple of bodies here and there. This family was replaced, right? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, Shinpei, like, maybe we should loop and save those people. Oh, what's that? You're only going to loop if one of your friends dies? Oh, so no one else on the island matters. I see, right. What else did I expect, right? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to some summertime render. Yes. Who doesn't like some time travel? We are back with episode 17. Where are my notes? Okay. Yeah. Episode 17. You know, there was one guy in my comments called me old, said I sounded old. It is what it is, you know. Unfortunately, they were right. I'm old and I'm also doing an all-nighter. It is what it is. And I know I keep saying that a lot, but you know, it is what it is. Regardless, previously on Summertime Render, we learned more about Mr. So, the best friend character, and we learned more about his father. I would say, heavily criticized the decision to essentially just kind of flip the script, as it were, on Shadow Mio. Kind of not really a fan of that, to be honest. You know, it's one thing to turn a shadow to the light side, as it were, if, you know, they have no idea they were even a shadow to begin with. Very much like Shadow Ushio. But unfortunately, with Shadow Mio, it doesn't really have the same explanation. You know, it doesn't really work the same way, because Shadow Mio knew that she was a shadow from the very beginning, so it doesn't really track. Not to mention the fact that she also doesn't even have the same, like, personality as the original Mio, so it's even, like, doubly the question of why she would just lose all her want to replace the original just because the connection between Heine and Shadow Mio was severed. Like, it doesn't really, I don't know. It just felt like it was weak. The way they explained it, or rather didn't explain it, was just weak. Weak sauce, very weak sauce. It felt to me like one of those things where a show writer just kind of doesn't really give a shit about it, you know? And they just kind of say that something is the way it is because it just is the way it is, you know? They can just say, hey, Shadow Me is good now, and you're expected not to ask why. Or you're just kind of expected to just go with it, you know? Just accept it, you know, just accept it. In any case, let's just get into episode 17 of Summertime Render. Decision.
日付が変わり23日になった。
先生、新しいシャンプーあったよ。私、新平と14年前の記憶を見たんです。先生とハイネが出会ったところを。
うん、聞いているよ。
先生はあの時ぺたんこやったのに、ちょっと触ってみて。
別に構わないが。
肩こりませんこれ。
こるよ。
ハイネはなんで
I'm not okay. So I just want to pause here real quick because I want to ask a question. Not to like say that it's bad, right? But my question is, why do this? You know, like legitimately, like, is this fan service moment here necessary? And this is kind of my problem with modern anime, to be honest. You know, I could go into a long discussion about this, basically talking about how modern anime just doesn't seem to understand the target audience, or rather, it's like they're trying to appeal to like 3 different audiences at the same time. On one hand, they want to tell a serious story. They at the same time want to have fan service and like, you know, kind of, you know, sexual. Let's be honest. Let's be honest and say what it is, right? It's sexual fan service. Like, come on, why else would you be showing like panty shots and fucking shower scenes where, like, you know, naked women are taking a shower? Like, why else would you be showing that, right? And then also the third thing, which is you're still, like, you're not showing anything, and you're also not showing like deaths and stuff like that. So that means you must be trying to keep things PG. So you're also aiming towards like younger teens or children. So it's like you're aiming towards three different groups of people. It's like they have no idea what they're doing. And because they're trying to push this to like three different like demographics, it just doesn't work. It ends up turning off all three, I think. Well, maybe not the last one, because, you know, children are entertained by anything. But like, my point is, it definitely turns off the first two, I would say, because it's like, come on, I don't know. The point is that they're trying to do three different things that just don't work well together, in my opinion. It's like you could have the same conversation that the characters are having right now, but just not have them in the shower naked. Like, you know, I don't see why they need to be in the shower naked talking to each other. Like, I don't think people do this in real life, but okay, you know, whatever floats your boat, I guess.
先生と遊んでる時は人間の可愛い女の子に見えたのに。
私が愚かだったのだ。好奇心だけで関わるべきではなかった。
私この体ハイネから生まれたんやと思う。龍之介さんが殺されたあの時にハイネが弾けて別れたんが私怖くて、私もいつかハイネみたいにおかしくなるんちゃうかって。
その時は私が殺してやる。
So Shadow Ushio was the little piece that the real question we have to ask here is, how did the eye get to Shinpei, right? Because like 14 years ago, if that little piece that, you know, flew away from Heine with the eye, right, somehow that the eye ended up inside Shinpei somehow before he even got to the island, and then the shadow somehow copied Ushio and then just forgot that he was a shadow or something. Like, there's still mysteries to be solved.
短い指も毛深いことも汗っかきなところもやめて。全部嫌い。だって全部お姉ちゃんの逆やもんね。外見だけちゃうよ。成績も性格も。やめてってば。あんたこそお姉ちゃんの影やん。
I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of stupid to me. Not gonna lie. The scene. The reason it is a little bit stupid to me is because I automatically try to, like, put myself in the shoes of the character on the screen, and if I was Mio in this case, which I'm not, but, you know, if I was, and like, myself is talking, sure, it's just Shadow, but like, they know everything about me, right? So it's like, if the Shadow is telling me all my weaknesses or my insecurities, like, it's not like what I'm hearing is anything new. Like, I also know those things, right? So it's like the Shadow shouldn't be able to tell me anything that I don't already know. And them voicing those insecurities in private, it's like I would maybe understand this reaction of like trying to slap her if she was revealing these insecurities in the presence of other people, but she's not. It's completely private conversation, so it's like, I don't understand this reaction. That's just weird.
せめて自分の気持ちを伝えなよ、しんちゃんに。ぐずぐずしてたら私が言うよ。あかん。絶対あかん。
I'm still wondering, like, why don't they have the same personality?
大事な母さんをハイネに食べさせるわけがない。 命日は2013年1月3日。死因は心不全だ。菱ヶ岳は300年にわたり影に関わってきた。この秘密はもちろん受け継がなければならん。
I don't want to pause, but I mean, imagine, right? If you find out that your mother or someone close to you, right, that you've known for the last 10 years, or like you've known them, let's say, for 20 years, but the last 10 years of that has been like a fake. That's been like essentially the real one was replaced by a fake one. Like, imagine how that would feel. It's like, Jesus.
なんでやろな。俺あんまり菱形先生が悪いって思いやんねん。大事な人を救うために手段を選ばんかっただけやろ。同じ立場やったら同じことせえへん自信ないよ。
でもその結果復活の儀式あの大量虐殺に加担してたんですよ。
True, 100%. Just because someone does something for good reasons does not mean that they are justified. You can maybe understand their position better, but I mean, it's one of those things, right? Someone decides to kill 100 people to save their loved one. It's kind of romantic, right, in a way. That, you know, they're willing to kill so many people because their love for this one person is so strong. But on the other hand, they just killed 100 people. So, yeah. Electric chair for you. Dude, this guy needs to sleep.
千歳さんも千歳さんやし、やっぱり俺は自信ないかな。
優しいんですね。新平さん、最後に眠ったんいつですか？
の言う通り、もう今しか眠るタイミングないかもな。ありがとう。
Something's obviously gonna happen.
どこ行くん？
お前か、牛尾。
一人で行動したら危ないで。トイレも声かけてって言うたやん。
Honestly, if I was them, I would 100% be giving the shadows new names. I wouldn't call them Ushio. I wouldn't call them Mio, right? I would give them some new name. Shushio, Shashio, you know, Shadow Ushio, Shushio. The problem ends up being that these characters try to, like, they consider these the originals. They treat them like the originals, but what they should be doing is treating them as new individuals.
だって影の気配がするんやもん。
心配いらん。あいつは動けやん先に。ただいま。
この人まさか。
鍵へ。妻のな、じゃあ一人で畑出て行って影になって帰ってきた。こいつはわしをコピーしようとしたが、わしには免疫があった。どないした？様子がおかしい。こんなんは初めて。
千歳さんをおかしくしたハイネのテレパシーを奥さんも受信してしもたんやと思う。
そうか。
ネズさん待って。
悪いけどよ、二人にしてくれ。待ってよ、
私がハッキングしたら戻せるよ、元の奥さんに。
元に戻してもこいつは書けない。しかもお前や菱形のんとは違う。こいつはわしの妻を殺して変身した妻の敵やろ。でもわしはこいつをよう殺さんかった。
Oh, but you know, based on what we saw last episode, I think the evil part of the shadows is only because they're connected to Heine, right? I mean, clearly, right? Like, I mean, Shadow Mia just lost her will to be evil because they severed her connections. I mean, you know, who knows, right? I mean, this shadow could be good also if you just severed the connection. You never know, right? Honestly, I'm completely on his side. Not gonna lie, I'm completely on his side. Absolutely, abso-fucking-lutely here. Like, oh my god, obviously. This idea that the shadows are just like... that the shadows can just be turned to the light side the moment you just sever the connection. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
影を駆除すると言いながら最大の敵であるこいつを生かしとった。わしにこれ以上ボーナスタイムはいらん。頼む。わしにもけじめつけさせてくれ。頼む。
Based. Now that's truly based. This guy is best character of the show. 100%. Best character, and I don't even know his name. Maybe I should like the one character that I never wrote his name down, and I haven't really ever paid attention to his name. I just know him as the old man with the sniper.
おいおい大丈夫か本当にぐっすり眠っていたぞよかった近づいていた時間の端っこが遠くなってる
I also don't like that thing that they keep doing, where he has like his subconscious talking to him or something. Like, what the fuck is that?
頭痛もひどくなってる今日23日は狩りの日になる明日の決戦に備えて影の戦力を可能な限り削いでおくのだまずは南雲先生が葬儀で見つけた影が標的だ南雲チームが子飼い時を俺たち牛尾チームは人淵家を調べることにするその前に牛尾チームは一度小船に戻ったくれていたロスとギルをトキちゃんの元に返した
I don't know. I don't think this is the right move to play. I think they definitely need to go for for Heine. Underground. They need to go to the main body. Now, it will be defended, obviously, but they need to do something. Because let's be honest, let's remind ourselves that the main body is the real problem, not Shiori, not the Shiori shadow that we've been fighting for a while now, right? Now, it will be defended, but there isn't much of an option, to be honest. Every shadow that you fight is simply a risk. Because let's be honest, like, you're gonna 100% time loop when someone dies, right? Because everyone has to survive, right?
ほな、今日はお姉ちゃんとしんちゃん二人っきりなんや。
Please, just... And this is, once again, one of those annoying things that they should just not do. You don't have to do this stupid romance thing. The show is completely fine without the romance.
どういうこと？
Absolutely completely fine.
洗面所とか部屋に落ちてたのを集めたんよ。髪の毛にはお姉ちゃんのデータがあるやろ。数本しかないけど、ちょっとした回復薬みたいに使えるかなって。
Is that how it works?
しんちゃん。後で私話あるから。絶対無事で帰ってきてよね。
わかった。なんかあったらすぐ連絡しろよ。
Just a waste of time. Waste of fucking time. Like, you already know how it's going to go as well. What's the point of even showing it? It's not gonna happen.
南雲先生が言うてた通りや。人淵家は全滅してる。南雲先生が葬儀で見つけた影。人淵かなえは学校の先生だ。通称ブッチー。もちろん、俺も牛尾も南雲先生も、島の子供全員が授業を受けたことがある。
確かに牛尾さんは強い。でも暴力はあかん。ほんまに強い人はな、誰かを傷つけたりせんの。
何それ意味わからん。
Debatable.
あんたのこの手は誰かを傷つけるんちごてね。 手つないだり撫でたり抱きしめたりするのに使ってほしいな。
あいつらと手つなげてよ。最悪おえ。
新平くん、
はい。
これからも牛尾さんのことよう見といちゃってね。あんたが頼りよ。
Now, I would say all of that is a complete bull honky, but, you know, in this case, it's like an adult teaching kids, so it's like, whatever, right? But obviously, it's complete bull honky. Sometimes you gotta use your fists.
プッチ
When you got bullies, you use force.
でも
If they use force against you, you use force against them back to show them that you are not to be bullied. Because once you fight back, then they realize that you're too much trouble to deal
俺
with.
たちは影の気配をたどり、鷹の巣山の森の奥へと向かった。
来んなよ。あらあら、元気がよろしいね、浜地くん。いい食事になりそう。
後ろ一人仕留め損ねた。新平子供らの後ろ。
Oh,
大きなったな、新平くん。元気にしてた。
はい。人淵先生。
that was a little too close, dude. A centimeter off, and you're sucking that knife in your head.
はい東大くん大正解。あ
降りられないんだよ。お前がここまで運んだやろが。
新平ってシリに好かれるタイプやな。
みたい。
そんなんちゃうわ。ええか、これは極秘の作戦やからな。大人には言うたらあかんぞ。
うわ
了解。
なんかすげえ。
You know, he brings up a very good point. Why don't they just tell everybody? Straight up. Like straight up. It's not like they don't have proof. They literally have Ushio with them. Ushio can use shadow powers. And Ushio can also, bear in mind, show people memories and shit, right, of previous timelines. Why don't they just go and tell everybody? This is one of those things. This is the same thing as, like, you know, superheroes having like significant others, and then they don't tell their significant others their secret identity. And it's like, bro, like, why not? Honestly, like, they say it's to protect them, but if they knew the truth, they would be much more and better prepared in case the villain finds out the superhero's secret identity, and by extension who they're dating, and then they would be much better prepared in case a villain finds out and come after them. You know, like, I feel like telling them would be a much better idea, to just have them prepared. I don't know. It's the same fucking conversation of will they panic, will they not panic? Personally, I believe that if, you know, let's say, for instance, the government came out and said to the world, hey, aliens exist, it would not cause a panic. Sure, some people might panic a little bit, but I would bet you most people would not panic. So you're always, in my opinion, in my personal, honest opinion, you're always better off telling the truth. People deserve to know and make their own decisions. If they panic, well, it is what it is, but like, I would say maybe 80-90% of people will not panic. Unless it's like imminent, like danger is imminent or something. If it's just a situation that doesn't have any immediate danger, they're not gonna panic immediately.
あの子ら影のこと黙ってられるかな。
大丈夫。言うても誰も
Why
信じ
not
ん。
tell anybody? Like,
新平
once
次や
again,
まだ
like, if you just think about it, right, it doesn't make sense not to tell anybody. Like, have they even considered telling anybody? Like, why are they keeping it quiet? Before, I would have said, you know, Shinpei doesn't know who is a shadow, who is not, and he's trying to keep his ability to time travel, like, you know, on the down low, so the shadows wouldn't find out about him and stuff like that, right? So keep all the information to yourself and don't get people involved and like try to figure out things on your own. But now the game is completely different. In my opinion, now it's actually a good thing to tell people. But it's one of those things again where the show itself doesn't really think about these things. Before, when we knew that only Shinpei could time travel or, you know, loop, then it was a good idea not to tell people, because telling people would run the risk of shadows finding out about you and your ability to loop. But now the game has changed, so now telling them is completely fine and actually a good thing. But the show itself already established that, oh, telling people is bad. But now that things have changed, they've kind of forgotten that, oh, now we could tell people, but they still have it in their head that, oh, we can't tell people. It's like a chess game where at first you read the game and you're like, okay, I can't move this bishop because the pawn is blocking it, right? So you calculate all kinds of other moves. In your head, you've already established that you cannot move the bishop, right? And then you move the pawn in front of the bishop out of the way. And then in the next move, you could move your bishop now to take the knight in the corner, but you kind of already established in your brain that the bishop can't take the knight because the pawn is in the way the previous turn. But now the board has changed, the board has moved, things are different now, right? You can now take the knight in the corner. That's my point, right? Things have changed. Now you can tell people.
人が楽しみようないな。その観光客は運ばれて。くそ。ハイネは昨日の傷を治すためにいつもより人を食べてるんや。
アホめ。いくら他人は食べても治らんのに。小早川しおりもハイネももうオリジナルはこの世におらんのやからな。
牛尾
What the fuck?
私今なんか言うた？
チームは合流し状況を報告し合った。結論から言うと倒せたのは一淵先生と子供二人の影だけだった。子飼い時にはシミだけが残され影を発見するに至らずであった。その後俺たちは戸村さんを中心に体育館での戦いで倒した影たちの家も調べた。いずれももぬけの殻だったが、全ての家族が旅行や出張などで姿を消す理由を周囲に話していた。
向こうから襲ってくる様子はないですね。やっぱり牛尾さんのハッキングを怖がっているんでしょうか。
奴らめ、わしらにはもう尻尾を見せへんかもな。
奴らが一番嫌がるんが祭りの中止か。なんとかして中止にできやんかな。
You could by just telling everybody what's going on.
そのためにはやっぱりあの人に会うしかない。思い返せば初めから俺はあの人に会おうとしてたんだ。初めて俺が殺された場所。ヒルコ様、ここが全ての始まりだ。
あら、こんにちは。
少しカリキリさんに話があってきました。時間ありますか？
ええ、構いませんよ。ほら、立ち話もなんですし、どうぞ中に。
Well, I kind of, I already kind of explained my reasoning with what I thought about this, not telling people thing. But one more thing I wanted to something that I've already kind of talked about, but I wanted to bring some more attention to is once again, notice how they're going around, they're finding more essentially dead bodies, right? People being replaced. They find out, ooh, they had they found a couple of bodies here and there. This family was replaced, right? Blah, blah, blah. Once again, it's almost like, hey, Shinpei, maybe we should loop and save those people. Oh, what's that? You're only going to loop if one of your friends dies? Oh, so no one else on the island matters. I see, right? Of course. I mean, what else did I expect, right? It's like the only people that matter are the people close to Shinpei, right? The main characters, the actual characters in the show. No one else matters. And that's a little bit annoying to me. But yeah, I mean, I think this idea that, you know, they're going around just killing the shadows, I mean, I don't think that's a good strategy, not gonna lie. I mean, sure, it might help, but at the end of the day, you gotta get to the original. You gotta get to Heine in that fucking cave under the fucking island. But that was episode 17 of Summertime Render. I hope you enjoyed. And I shall be back with episode 18 next time. Until then.